The old saying goes, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing, and anybody who disagrees with that is too busy gargling Nintendo's turds to think clearly. I mean, licking those boots is a full-time job. Now, ladies and gents, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like to dabble in a few Sabrina Carpenter songs every now and then. And I was listening to one of her songs whilst I was, pumping iron, and in the song Espresso, there's a part where she said, switch it up like Nintendo. And I'm not even lying to you, I almost dropped the dumbbell on my foot because I was like, wow, Nintendo is going to sue her. Now, you might think I'm joking, but remember, never ever say the word Nintendo unless you have permission from Nintendo. Hit the like button and subscribe, baby. Let's get to 90,000 because only punks watch my videos and don't subscribe. And well, I know you're not a punk, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And speaking of punks, Nintendo profits more from lawsuits than games at this point. One wonders what they're even doing over there, because clearly making good video games that people want to buy isn't at the top of their priority list. We can just look at their last Pokemon game, and oh, I almost forgot, Nintendo fans take out a second mortgage on their own house to keep them afloat. How does that corporate dong taste? Because we all know how Nintendo treats their own fans, and yet they stupidly continue to put them on a pedestal. Oh, it's so sad, because Nintendo will sue every kid in America for dressing up as Mario during Halloween. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. I can just see CNN a few months from now. Nintendo sues poor family in India for emulating a 30-year-old game. No, sir, don't arrest me. And now he has to apply for a H-1 visa in USA and he will be granted that. Okay, having said all of that, this story has many odds. I love stories like this because I can make fun of every party. Let's start with Downey number 1. A sweaty ball bag from America thought it was a good idea to represent himself without legal representation and paid a deep price, no pun intended. Oh yes, he was that stupid. Is he a fool? I guess so. I mean, this guy must have had 9,000 missed calls from Nintendo. Because a man who sold Nintendo Switch mod chips, flashcards, and pirated games settled a lawsuit with Nintendo, agreeing to pay $2 million. He initially attempted to defend himself without legal representation. I almost felt bad for this guy, but I was like, how have you still not figured out that representing yourself is always a bad idea? Especially if you're up against Nintendo's fleet of lawyers who have literally nothing better to do than go after the little guy. Oh, they love doing that. You want to know why I said little guy? Not only because this person has a mind of a child, because Nintendo loves going after these individuals, but when it comes to the hairless cue ball head Jeff Bezos, whose website sells, oh my god, so many hard drives of Nintendo ROMs, what about Amazon blatantly selling hard drives of this? Nintendo seems to, I don't know, just forget that Amazon exists? That's the real question here, ladies and gents. When will Nintendo sue Amazon for selling bootleg Nintendo consoles for like 15 years instead of suing Palworld or shutting down random guys who live in Michigan? Imagine only going after the sellers and not Amazon, who's allowing the sales of these copyrighted products on their platform. Anyway, let me get to the article. Nintendo wins a $2 million settlement against Switch mod chip seller who previously denied wrongdoing. It's funny how Nintendo sues everyone but hasn't gotten sued for their Joy-Con drift. The Joy-Con drift is a complete embarrassment. Oh wait, that's actually part of their own scam. It's not a bug, it's a feature kind of thing. Now, Nintendo filed a complaint in July 2024 against Michigan-based Ryan Daly, who operated a store called Modded Hardware. This guy might as well put a giant sign above his head saying, "Sue me, Nintendo." I mean, how dumb can you be? Either way, I mean, he's doing what Nintendo isn't doing, so Nintendo should probably hire him. Anyway, the lawsuit claimed that Nintendo contacted Daly in March 2024 and threatened to sue him unless he stops selling modded Switch consoles and MIG switches which enable pirated Switch games to be played on unmodded hardware. Whoa, hold on a second. I have a question to ask. How can it be pirating if you don't own the games you buy? I mean, someone needs to explain to me how that makes any sense. Gamers only want one thing, and it's to pay a certain amount of money to own a game that you can't take away. It's that simple, Nintendo. Nintendo. I'm not making any excuse for pirating or saying two wrongs make a right, but we're supposed to just accept paying $90 for a game that we don't own, which can be shut down at any point for any reason by Nintendo, and we know they can be incredibly petty. But that's the thing, we gamers can be very petty too. Now, that goes for any game in 2025, by the way. We are at the mercy of their own servers, which when they go down, there goes our purchase. So I always tell people that the solution to piracy is good customer service. Stop treating your own consumers like cattle that you can redirect at any point. No, we're not that stupid, and I was told a long time ago that the best way to fight greedy corporations is to pirate everything. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I was told that. Now, according to Nintendo's complaint, Daly had originally agreed to stop selling unauthorized devices but continued to do so, claiming that he was looking for a new lawyer. Nintendo therefore filed a complaint at a federal court in Seattle, accusing Daly of 6 charges, including circumvention of devices and copyright infringement. Oh my god, Nintendo, if only you spent this much time and money in preserving your own games. Because if you did, pirates would no longer exist and they would have nothing to do. Daly then filed a response to Nintendo's complaint, denying any wrongdoing, listing 17 affirmative defenses in which the defendant introduced evidence that could excuse them from liability, including fair use, invalid copyrights, unjust enrichment, and fraudulent inducement. See, Nintendo would charge you a licensing fee for humming Nintendo songs in your head if they could. Anyway, look, this guy really thought Nintendo of all companies wouldn't come for him. I mean, how the did he get away with this for so long, especially for a good amount of time to make $2 million, which he apparently made? This absolute brain-dead moron had such poor quality, such knock-off equipment, with bad reviews littered all over it, which made a very nice trail for Nintendo to follow right to him. Anyway, however, rather than taking the case to court, Nintendo and Daly filed a joint stipulation which agrees Daly will pay Nintendo $2 million. Oh wow, how nice. I'm glad we got a good end to the story. This guy's gonna need the $2 million he made to cover the legal fees. And at the same time this whole thing is going on, big money is lobbying politicians to prevent the Stop Killing Games movement. We have companies and authorities who are working simultaneously cracking down on archiving and accessibility of video games. It's just gross. You know, maybe it's time that the laws finally update so games can be protected against companies instead of using it to just unjustly imprison people like that Italian guy in Italy. You remember that Italian guy a few months ago who just wanted to play old games that was part of his history and he got put in handcuffs. I will always stand side by side anybody trying to preserve retro and delisted games. One of my favorite quotes is, if a law is unjust, a man is not only right to disobey it, he is obligated to do so. We gamers will do everything and anything to preserve retro old games. And we're not gonna let Nintendo get away with just coasting on their brand name, jacking up all their prices on repurposed games and replacing new content with porting and upscaling. No, we're not gonna let that go on. Just look what they did to the world's biggest media franchise, Pokemon. Oh, they just destroyed it so badly. And on that bombshell, let me know what you think in the comments. Manix out.